immigration was more a poorer demographic who were trying to find a better life in America. So they brought all their customs with them, and those changed in America, and then some of them came back to Ireland, and one of those is the pumpkin. So traditionally in Ireland it would have been a sugar beet or a turnip, which are much harder to carve. The pumpkin is softer. So a scary face is made and a light is put in it. So the sugar beet or the turnip are they're scarier looking. Like some of them look like a human head. So it's again not clear what the intention or the purpose of them was originally. But some have suggested that the light, the candle in them, is to light the way for the souls of the dead. And there's many other festivals in different religions actually that have to do with lighting the way for the dead or for other spiritual beings. Even in Christianity at Christmas, putting the candle in the window is symbolically to light the way for Mary and Joseph passing by. So there's that way of interpreting it, or there's another way of interpreting it, that the light, the fire especially, of the candle is to ward off, to keep away the dead, or the fairies. So again, whether they're the same thing or not is not clear as we look further back into the distant past. But from the folklore collections of the 1800s up until the early 20th century, there were various different references to fairies being afraid of certain things, and one of those is fire. And there's different kind of theories about why that is. That spiritual beings like fairies, they're very much associated with nature. So there's a dichotomy or a division between nature and culture. So human beings make fire. It's not something that animals can create, and unless you believe in dragons. But the fire is associated with keeping away various different types of evil spirits and fairies. And also metal in Irish folklore is thought to keep away fairies specifically, especially iron, and even to do with changelings, which are fairies put in place of a human being. So most commonly the stories about changelings are to do with babies and toddlers, and people in early modern Ireland would put something like a shovel or something metal, but especially iron, near the cot, in the belief that the fairies wouldn't pass it to take the baby away. And one of the things to threaten a changeling is a hot poker, so fire and metal. And another custom is to put nails, metal nails in your pocket if you're going out for a walk or something, to keep away fairies. So going back to the jack-o'-lantern, it's been suggested that the candle is to keep away the fairies and the dead. So it could be either thing. So some other things associated with Samhain are, and I'll explain how it became Halloween then, are divination practices. So divination it's like fortune telling. It's I mentioned at the start that these two times, Samhain and Bealtaine, or Halloween and May Day, are understood as like these cracks in time. So Samhain is a time when people would try to see into this crack, try to see into the future about what's going to happen, especially in the coming year. And many of the divinatory customs have to do with getting married, and they're focused on young girls because it's the traditional expectation is that this is what a lot of people focused on, was getting married. So some of the things would be to get two nuts, like hazelnuts. So people still associate hazelnuts with Halloween and buy fruit and nuts. So these are the traditional foods associated. But taking two hazelnuts or other nuts and putting them in the grate of the fire, so in the hearth, and as you name them after a couple in the local area, and if they stay together in the heat of the fire, in the heat of the grate, they're supposed to get married in the coming year, so before the next Samhain. So each festival kind of goes, from Samhain to Samhain, from Imbolc to Imbolc, and so on. And if they split apart, that couple are supposed to break up in the coming year. So there's many other customs to do with getting married. So girls would, to do with telling the future is dreams. So in many cultures around the world, people would look to their dreams as being prophetic, as giving them some signs of what's going to happen. And at Samhain, girls would eat something like a salted herring before going to sleep, in the hopes that it would induce a dream of their future husband. And the traditional meal associated with Samhain is colcannon, which is potato, cabbage, sometimes there's onion in it as well,